From dragons who flat out refused to follow Toothless to the hidden reason Drago destroyed his own most powerful weapon, today we're breaking down 10 things you didn't notice in How to Train Your Dragon. But first, if Toothless is your favorite dragon, drop a dragon in the comment. And if you love How to Train Your Dragon, hit subscribe. We post every week. Number 1, the dragons that refuse to follow Toothless to the hidden world. At the end of How to Train Your Dragon 3, Toothless leads almost all the dragons into the hidden world, but some of them looked at that ocean crossing and said, absolutely not. The Foreverwing didn't follow because it was already asleep. This dragon is so massive, it's regularly mistaken for an island, and it sleeps for over 100 years at a time. When the rest of the dragons left, the Foreverwing simply didn't notice. It was still snoring. The Armorwing didn't leave for a completely different reason. This dragon is essentially a blacksmith. It obsessively collects metal and forges its own armor from scratch. The hidden world has no scrap metal, no forges, nothing it needs. Why would it go? And then there are the speed stingers. Dragons that are genuinely physically incapable of making the journey. They can't fly. They can't swim. Crossing an ocean to a hidden underwater world was simply never an option. These ones didn't choose to stay. They were stuck. Which dragon do you think had the best reason for not going? Number 2, the 3 dragons that can never truly be tamed. How many of these untamable dragons do you actually know? Third place goes to the Snow Wraith. It belongs to the Strike class and only appears in freezing regions. Its white and icy blue scales make it nearly invisible in snow. It doesn't just hide though, it attacks fast, unleashing multiple high-damage frost blasts in seconds. Add heat vision that can detect any living thing, and getting close becomes basically impossible. Second place is the Death Song. It's officially classified as untamable. Its weapon isn't fire or claws, it's music, a hypnotic siren-like call that draws other dragons in unconsciously, then traps them in amber resin until they die. In the series, the writers briefly raised a Death Song hatchling. Just one baby dragon made the entire Dragon's Edge sleepless with non-stop noise. They had no choice but to risk their lives to return it to the wild. First place, the Screaming Death, the strongest boulder-class dragon alive, with almost no natural predators. Its high-frequency scream keeps everything at a distance, while its spike-covered tail tears through anything that gets close. It's violent, holds grudges for an incredibly long time, and the only thing that can restrain it is its own mother. Which dragon do you think should have made this list? Number 3, the one dragon class that dominates in pure attack power. Do you know which class holds almost every powerful offensive dragon in the entire franchise? There's one that gathers them all. The Stoker class relies on fire. The monstrous nightmare ignites its entire body and breathes molten hot flame. The Zippleback uses 2 heads working together. One releases flammable gas, the other creates the spark. The explosion that follows is massive, but the Stoker class doesn't even come close to the Strike class. Toothless and the Light Fury alone would end most fights before they started. Their plasma blasts are precise, their cloaking is near perfect, and their offspring, the Nightlights, can already control both abilities as hatchlings. And it doesn't stop there. Grimmel's secret weapon, the Death Gripper, is also Strike class. Its venomous tail stinger can drop a grown human or dragon into unconsciousness in seconds. And if the stinger doesn't finish the job, the corrosive acid it sprays will, eating through metal and igniting fires almost instantly. What other Strike class dragons am I missing? Drop them in the comments. Number 4, Stoick the Vast's most powerful moments, and the one that still hurts. He is one of the most heartbreaking characters in the entire franchise. Even more than a decade later, just saying his name brings a wave of regret. That's Stoick the Vast, Hiccup's father. Do you remember his greatest moments? In Race to the Edge, Stoick tames Skullcrusher in the most raw, unscripted way possible. No gentle head touch, no gradual trust building. They fight, and somewhere in the middle of that bare-handed struggle, they become brothers. No setup, no ceremony. That scene still feels ahead of its time. In the first film, Stoick is completely against Hiccup's friendship with Toothless. Dragons are monsters, that's all he's ever known. But the moment he watches his son risk his life to save one, his entire worldview cracks. And then he doesn't just accept it, he turns around and saves Toothless himself. One decision and centuries of hatred between Vikings and dragons. But his greatest moment is also his last. When the Bewilderbeast targets Hiccup, Stoick doesn't think. He steps in front of the blast, no speech, no goodbye, just a father choosing his son. He gives his life so Hiccup can have a future. That moment hits differently every single time. Number 5, why every dragon in the franchise fears one small, limbless animal. Every dragon in How to Train Your Dragon sits at the top of the food chain. They breathe fire, command armies, and level entire villages. Yet all of them, including Toothless himself, are terrified of one creature with no limbs and almost no ability to fight back, the eel. So what is actually going on? The real reason is biological simple, eels are poisonous to dragons. If one eats an eel, it triggers something called the eel effect: physical pain, uncontrolled fire breathing, and in serious cases, full hallucinations. It's not a preference, it's a biological warning system. There's also the taste factor. Eels secrete a slimy coating that smells and tastes nothing like normal fish. So whether it's instinct or past experience, dragons are wired to avoid them entirely. Only a very small number of dragons can eat eels without getting sick. And here's the wild part. In real life, some eels genuinely do produce toxic proteins in their blood and can deliver electric shocks as a defense. The animated lore is more grounded in reality than most people realize. What other HTTYD details line up with real animal behavior? Number 6. Which dragon has the most impressive wing design in the entire franchise? Are there any dragons in How to Train Your Dragon whose wings actually beat the Stormcutter? The number 1 spot might genuinely surprise you. Third place goes to the Night Fury. Toothless's wings look completely black at first glance, but they're modeled after bat wings, with a thin membrane stretched over strong internal bones. Under certain lighting, they catch a faint sheen. During flight, they actually shift shape slightly with every movement. Understated, but genuinely sophisticated. Second place is the monstrous Nightmare. Hookfang's wingspan is enormous relative to his body, with black tiger stripe patterns across the full membrane. His wings double as forelimbs when he walks. Along the edges are hardened spike-like ridges. And when a monstrous Nightmare ignites itself mid-flight with wings fully spread, that's one of the most visually dramatic moments in the entire franchise. But first place belongs to the Crimson Goragutter. Already close to Titan Wing stage, its wingspan dwarfs almost every other dragon alive. What makes it unforgettable is the color. Deep reddish-purple wings that look like fireworks against the sky. The membranes are thick and powerful, with rock-hard ridges along every edge. Enormous, ancient, and stunning. Which dragon do you think deserves the top spot? Number 7. Did Astrid fall for Hiccup because of Toothless's power? The truth is more interesting. A lot of people ask this while watching How to Train Your Dragon. Why would Astrid, the fiercest young warrior on Berk, fall for someone as awkward and overlooked as Hiccup? Was it because of the power that came with Toothless? The truth is, that was never it. Astrid looked like the perfect traditional Viking on the surface, but she was never as narrow-minded as the others. She noticed Hiccup changing before anyone else did, and instead of ignoring it, she went to investigate. That curiosity led her to the truth about Hiccup and Toothless. And what she saw wasn't a weak boy with a powerful dragon. She saw the first Viking in history to genuinely befriend one. What drew her deeper was his character. Where other Vikings were hot-headed and aggressive, Hiccup was calm, thoughtful, and emotionally aware. He cared how people felt. He had leadership instincts that had nothing to do with physical strength. That gave Astrid something no muscle-bound fighter ever could: actual security. Their dynamic was always complementary. When Hiccup spiraled into doubt, Astrid pulled him back up. She even learned how to comfort him in ways specific to his personality. And whenever she was in danger, Hiccup became visibly anxious, rushing to her side, refusing to leave. That wasn't obligation, that was love. Astrid didn't fall for a powerful Viking. She fell for the bravest, kindest person she'd ever met. Number 8. The funniest dragons in the franchise? Toothless doesn't even make first place. Based on design, personality, and sheer chaotic energy, which dragons are actually the funniest in How to Train Your Dragon? Toothless only ranks second, and the one in first place is so obsessed with eating, it barely has time to notice there's a fight happening. Number 4 is the Terrible Terror. Tiny, barely the size of an arm, but completely convinced it's the most threatening creature alive. These dragons love provoking things hundreds of times their size. Zero self-awareness, short temper, and the most unhinged high-pitched screeches imaginable. Basically angry chihuahuas with fire breath. Number 3 is the Hobgobbler. These dragons exist purely to cause mischief. In How to Train Your Dragon 3, they torment Gobber just for fun and reproduce so fast there are more of them in every single scene. Their design alone has a naturally goofy quality. They're funny just standing there doing nothing. Number 2 is Toothless. He understands human speech, plays along with jokes, and laughs when others mess up. And the mating dance scene has been making people lose it for years. But number 1 is a dragon that has been eating non-stop from the moment it first appeared on screen. Wars around it, still eating. People trying to capture it, still eating. Rescuers showing up, still eating, unbothered. On top of that, it has a strong artistic sense and a genuine talent for sculpture. Do you know which dragon I'm talking about? episode. Number 9. Hidden details in how to train your dragon that most people completely missed. Have you noticed these details hiding in plain sight? When Eret first appears, he shows Hiccup a brand burned into his skin, Drago's punishment for returning empty-handed without a captured dragon. Later, when Hookfang attacks Drago at the stronghold, watch Eret's hands. He reaches up and nervously touches the exact spot where that brand is. The memory of that pain is still with him. In the Dragon Sanctuary, Hiccup uses his dragon blade and makes a slow circular motion around his head, and the dragons lower their guard. That gesture looks familiar because later in the same film, Drago uses the exact same circular motion to force Hookfang into submission and to summon his own Bewilderbeast. One gesture. Two completely different relationships with dragons. And in the hidden world, there's a scene where Hiccup stands on a cliff recalling something Stoick once told him. That moment is a direct tribute to the Lion King, specifically the scene between Simba and Mufasa. The framing, the emotion, the father-son weight of it, all echoed on purpose. What other hidden details have you spotted that most people miss? Number 10. Drago may have caused his own Bewilderbeast's defeat. All along, the Bewilderbeast's defeat in How to Train Your Dragon 2 might not have been Toothless's doing alone. It might have been Drago's fault from the very beginning. Look closely at the moment where Valka's Bewilderbeast and Drago's Bewilderbeast press their tusks together. There's a visible crack already on Drago's beast's tusk. That didn't come from the battle. It was already there as the result of years of abuse before the film even starts. Drago never raised his Bewilderbeast with anything resembling care. From the time it was young, he used extreme methods to break it into blind obedience. His signature weapon, the bull hook, a heavy metal rod with a sharp curved hook, was used to stab the most sensitive parts of dragons, around the eyes, the nose, the neck. Pain as control. Every battle, every year added more damage. By the time it faced Toothless, the tusks had already been reinforced with metal just to hold them together. They were already failing. When Toothless's plasma blast hit them, they didn't shatter because the blast was powerful enough alone. They shattered because Drago had been breaking them for years. And maybe that explains what happens in the hidden world. Dragons who had spent their entire lives under fear and force finally encountered an alpha who led differently. After everything Drago put them through, perhaps they were more than ready to follow someone new. And that's all 10. Which one surprised you most? A theory, a detail, or a moment you never noticed? Let me know in the comments. Hit like if you want part 2 and make sure you're subscribed.